Hey Juventini, welcome back to the channel. I'm Alberto, and we are going to cover all the latest Mercato rumblings surrounding Juventus to June 24th, and there is a lot. So we're going to tackle all those rumblings. We're going to talk about a standoff between the top journalists surrounding Juventus and where they stand on one topic, just highlighting it as an example. Then we're going to get to some wild news around Ligt, and then, of course, the Serie A fixtures for 22-23 season have been unveiled. We're going to discuss that, and I have one piece of really good news for all you Juventini. So let's go. All right, everybody, friendly reminder to like the video and, of course, subscribe to the channel. And don't forget that tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, we're going to be live for another session of Mercado Madness. And, of course, this is your opportunity to get all your Storm the Barn questions in. And not only that, but your comments and opinions. You guys are always great on the live shows, and we love having you and making you a part of the show. So don't forget, tomorrow morning, we are live. Now, without further ado, let's get to the news. Okay, right out of the gate, we're going to talk about Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba was basically unveiled yesterday, saying that it is done deal by Nico Schira, by Romeo Gresti, by Fabrizio Romano. It is completely done. Everything has been resolved, and of course, this is not far off from the last meeting that was between Juventus and Paul Pogba's lawyers. So there you have it. It is done. He is expected in Turin between July 5th and July 8th to finalize everything. So there you have it. Paul Pogba, it's happening. Pog back, baby. Let's go. Now, in terms of standoffs between journalists and why this can be so hard, especially for newer fans who just aren't used to the Mercado and how wild it can really be, this season it's proven to be even more wild than what we're accustomed to. And you could see it in the journalism and how they're just kind of all over the map. And we have multiple standoffs happening on a lot of different players. One example involving Juventus is Di Maria, and this is the latest and what it looks like. Now, in terms of Di Maria, Monblano says that he has given his yes to Juventus. We know where Monblano stands in terms of credibility rating. Okay, so there you have it. That's that. Giovanni Albanese, however, who is much more credible than Monblano, in my opinion, but still, he's been all over the map this Mercado, and he's kind of dropped down several pegs for me. He says, as of yesterday, Juventus have completely given up on Di Maria. That's where he stands on it. Romeo Agresti, we know where Romeo Agresti stands, but he too, as of late, has seemed off. And there are growing reports saying that Romeo Agresti might not have the links and connections that he once had, and that there has been a shift and he doesn't have as much contact as he once did, but he still very much is at the top of the charts. He says there is no answer yet from Di Maria. In terms of Nico Schira is extremely credible and reliable. He says Di Maria has yet to give an answer. So he and Agresti on the same page here. Mirko Di Natale, not far away from everyone and kind of in between, because he says Juventus will wait until Sunday before focusing elsewhere if Di Maria has not answered by this coming Sunday. So there you have it. That's the stand-up. This is what makes it incredibly wild, but it gives us a lot of entertainment. The fact that these guys are kind of making stands on opposite sides of the fence. It makes for entertainment during the Mercado season, even when there is no news. So it's very interesting to see what's developing. Again, you all know as well as I do who you should really be keeping an eye on. You know, I include Monblano in there, but by no means would I have him in a list with Mirko Di Natale, Nico Schira, and Romeo Agresti. There you have it. But that's where it stands right now. That's where it stands with Di Maria. I do believe we will wait till it gets closer to the beginning of July when things truly open up. So there you have it. Now, let's get to the other Mercado rumblings. We have Nottingham Forest and Fulham showing interest in Moyes Kean. Okay, we also remember what Nico Shira said that I reported yesterday, that PSG could come back into play for Moise Kean. This Moise Kean thing is a very, very high priority for Juventus. We know that after this 22-23 season, that it becomes an obligation for Juventus to purchase Moise Kean. They will be looking for a solution as quick as possible to this one. This is a very, very high priority for Juventus because from everything we're hearing, Moise Kean wants to leave Juventus, and Juventus can't get into a situation where they have to take that purchase, that obligation, without having an end solution for the players. So they would much rather have this looked after sooner rather than later. And I think that's for all parties involved. So that's the latest on Moise Kean. Now, speaking of Fulham, who is interested in Moise Kean, Fulham's also showing interest in Luca Pellegrini. And Luca Pellegrini is consistently linked with a move away from Juventus. And it continues to be reported amongst the top journalists that Luca Pellegrini, look for him to leave Juventus this summer. So that's the latest on him as well. We got some wild Ligt reports today. Okay, so thankfully for us Juventini, it's coming from Repubblica, but Repubblica is reporting that Matthias de Ligt has requested to leave Juventus this summer. Okay, so again, thankfully it's Repubblica. I don't put them up for anything that comes from them. Okay, so the latest we've heard on de Ligt from credible sources is that Juventus has had meetings with basically his lawyer and his agency, which is still under Raiola. It's now his cousin Vincenzo Raiola. Okay, so Vincenzo Raiola and Juventus have had meetings, and as well as with the lawyer, because Pogba and de Ligt share the same lawyer through the Raiola agency. Okay, and everything that's come out of it is Juventus is wanting to renew Matthias de Ligt. Matthias de Ligt wants to lower the release cost, but the talks are ongoing. Okay, and even de Ligt has reiterated that in interviews himself, that there's nothing to really discuss yet because the talks are really at the early stages. Okay, but that's all I would leave it at. Don't get sucked into the social media tornadoes and all this about de Ligt. Okay, pump the brakes. It is going to be okay. The news was broken by Repubblica. That's it. End of discussion. Now, let's move on to Zaniolo. Zaniolo continues to be linked with Juventus and a move to Juve. Okay, so we are currently hearing that the reports are Juve will be looking at 25 million euros financially, plus adding one of McKennie or Arthur in the deal to bring Zaniolo to Juventus. If you follow this story for a long time, we know that prior to the winter break, we heard of Zaniolo reaching an agreement personally on personal terms with Juventus. So I think all that would be in line, and I don't think that there's any issue with Zaniolo accepting Juventus. He would come to Juventus. There are agreements there in place. It's just finding a formula to make that move. And are they going to make that move? What is the domino effect in this move for Zaniolo? Is it in fact Di Maria, or is this a standalone piece of business at 25 million euro and a player included in it? So we have to wait to see on this front. And again, I think we're getting very, very close to Di Maria's decision, which will then, for me, unlock the rest of the pieces of this puzzle. Okay, but that's the latest on Zaniolo. Now we move to a done deal, and that's between Juventus and Fiorentina for midfielder Rolando Mandragora. They have reached a deal at 9 million euros for the sale, with a small bonus going to Juventus as well. But done deal, Mandragora to Fiorentina. They're going to finalize everything within a couple days. Okay, so done deal there. Now let's talk about Rovella. Rovella has constantly been linked in certain moves. He was also discussed about a move for Zaniolo and Roma being interested. We have a lot of clubs apparently requesting Rovella. The latest is Monza, but it is being reported that no decision will be made on Rovella and whether or not he's integrated at Juventus or moved in a deal until preseason, which we're not far off of. Preseason is going to basically get started shortly into when the window truly opens. Okay, so we just wait to see what develops there. But Rovella still very much in question whether or not he will be used as a bargaining chip, or will he be sold outright? Will he be loaned maybe? Nobody really knows yet. We have to wait and see, but answers will come once preseason starts happening. So there you have it. Now, Serie A fixtures. The Serie A fixtures are out for the 22-23 season, and we kick off the season on my dad's birthday. Massive Juventino. Reason I'm a Juventino. August 14th on my father's birthday. It's going to kick off Juventus versus Sassuolo. That is their first opponent. The Derby d'Italia, Juventus against Inter. The dates are, we have November 6th and March 19th for the Derby d'Italia games. And then the last game Juventus will play before the World Cup break will be against Lazio on November 13th, okay? And then we will have the World Cup break and get back into it in January, okay? And I told you all I had one good piece of news for all of you Juventini, and here it is. Dzeko is not an option for Juventus. Okay, so there you go. I know a lot of Juventini are going to like hearing that one, but Dzeko, not an option for Juventus. So that's my one really good piece of news that came out of all the news this morning. Hope you guys liked it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My favorite part, of course, is hearing from all of you. So drop your thoughts, opinions, and even your questions you might have for us in the comments section to this video, and I can't wait to mix it up with all of you. And again, reminder, do not forget, tomorrow morning 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, we are live here on the channel, and we hope to discuss all the news of this week with each and every one of you. Okay, as always, fino alla fina, forza Juve. Ciao tutti.